Welcome back everyone. As most of you know, I love my Nintendo Switch. It's one of my favorite consoles of all time, and with the recent Nintendo Switch Pro that just came out, I'm going to be honest, there's going to be some issues that are going to be plaguing a couple of these consoles, mostly because Nintendo still has not upgraded a certain, specific portion of these specific consoles, which I'll get into in a second. So if you just bought a brand new Nintendo Switch, or even if you bought a used Nintendo Switch in any form or fashion, you need to look out for this thing and maybe some other things as well. The first thing I'm going to tell you is if your Nintendo Switch came with Joy-Cons and those Joy-Cons, are not functioning properly, they have joystick drift or whatever, most probably you're going to be in a better situation if you just return that whole entire console, in my opinion, and get a new console. That's probably the best thing you can do. And the reason I say that is because if you're not comfortable buying, $60, $70 Joy-Cons to replace those, it's much easier for you just to replace that console and just get a new console at that point than even, fixing it yourself, which is probably a temporary fix, but even sending those Joy-Cons over to Nintendo, because that will actually probably end up taking a much longer time than you would imagine. I mean, it takes maybe like 4 to 6 weeks to sometimes get your Joy-Cons back, and that's a huge ask in and of itself because you're going to have to wait to play your Switch. Now, there's a couple ways to go about this, but especially if you bought a Nintendo Switch Lite, if you bought a Switch Lite and those Joy-Cons are not functioning properly and they're drifting, you have no other choice than to return that specific console and just move on and get another one or get a Switch Pro or whatever the case is. In my opinion, that is the most important thing you can do. And like I mentioned, when you get a console like this, especially with the Switch Lite, you can't go and just replace this console easily. You can't go and take it apart easily and fix the Joy-Cons. There's a couple ways to fix this temporarily, which is getting like isopropyl alcohol. But for the most part, you are on your own, unless you want to wait like a month or two for Nintendo to fix your console and send it back to you. And this is, in and of itself, the biggest issue that has plagued all the Nintendo Switches, but especially for Switch Lite users, I would recommend, testing out those Joy-Cons and making sure they work properly, because if they don't, then you're going to have to return it. There's no other way you can go about it. With the Switch, the standard Switch, and in the future the Switch Pro, again, you're probably better off either returning the console, or if you're comfortable enough, sending it out to Nintendo and waiting a couple weeks, or a month or whatever, for them to send back the Joy-Cons to you, and then you can start playing your console. But if I was in a situation, I would much rather just return that specific console and get a new one than to have to send them out to Nintendo and wait an even longer time to play my specific console. So that's pretty much it. That's the number one thing I'd recommend doing. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.